Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Of course, Manchester City play tomorrow, and a very strange day, Friday for once, but it's an important day for an important game. It's the FA Cup, and of course, we're playing Arsenal. So this game all of a sudden means an awful lot, given everything going on this season. And given it's so important, I had to get a really important man on the show as well. Robbie, how you doing, mate? Are you good?
Yeah, no, good. Looking forward to coming up to the Etihad. Not normally something I say. I'm not normally looking forward to it, but this time around, I am looking forward to it.
You must be buzzing, mate, right now. Life is absolutely wonderful for Arsenal. I mean, genuinely wonderful. It couldn't really be much better, could it? Life for you, like under Arteta. I remember chatting a couple of years ago, and you were really behind Arteta, of course. This is a competition as well that kick-started it, winning the FA Cup as well. And
Yep.
what does it feel like now to be a Gooner right now? You must be on cloud nine.
Yeah, I'm feeling like a City fan.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? Right, it has been great. Because it's not just the fact that our league position. It's the fact that we're genuinely playing brilliant football,
Yeah.
and it's been since the start of the season. From pre-season. I remember watching the team out over in the States and thinking, wow, we look ready for the season, and we've been really good this season. I mean, it's not been, I really don't think it's a fluke where we are in the league table. I think it's been hard earned, and we've been playing excellent football. So to be able to go and watch, your team play every week and they're playing so well really is a joy to watch.
No, absolutely, you're right, and it is deserved. I mean, the way I feel as a City fan right now, if Arsenal go and do it, like they deserve it. I know that sounds really obvious, but it's kind of true that the run that you've been on so far this season, it's remarkable. Like you're pressing towards, you're on the pace of 100 points, and that's just it's one of the greatest starts in the history of the league, to put it simply. And that must be great. I mean, What's made it click for you? Obviously because you were a good team and you were getting there, but this season there's been a real change, and there's been a real belief, I guess, in focus. What's been the changing factors for you? And please don't say Zinchenko, Jesus.
They've been too important ones.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is, right? Is when you look at it, right? Arsenal last season were playing really good football as well, right? Not as good as this year, but we were playing really good football last season as well. So you could see, if you take those first three games out of it, when, we were, those were three horrible losses. We were depleted through COVID and injuries. When Arteta started to get it together, we were playing some really good stuff. We fell away towards the end, again, because of injuries. We just didn't have the squad to get over the line to get into that top four. But we were playing good football. I think the main difference this season is the personnel. When you've got better players, right, and you're just a better team. So obviously, there's the two players that you gave us, which we're very grateful for, in Jesus and Zinchenko, who've made a great difference and really lifted levels, and they've been outstanding. But I also feel that there's been some other players like Saliba coming in at centre back has been a very, very important player, and has just made us a different team at the back as well. Defensively, we're just so much better. And then the switching of Ben White to right back has been a masterstroke as well. And again, he's been exceptional. And then we've had a fit Thomas Partey, who over the past couple of years we haven't had that. We've had Thomas Partey for a couple of games and he's out. And this season, I think he's played, about 16 league games, and every game he's played in, he's never lost. So it's the personnel as well. I think, getting rid of some of the players that needed to be moved out has really, really worked. And it's just now, I think that the team are able to play in the style in which Mikel Arteta always wanted us to play in. But sometimes we were unable to play in because we just didn't have the players capable of doing it.
The style, the football it's not quite the same as Guardiola's. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? There is definitely a difference there. It's very aggressive. I mean, maybe it's more similar to the City of 17-18, but I really love the explosiveness of Arsenal right now. And there's a little bit of City from obviously there but there's also a bit of Liverpool as well, isn't there, with the intensity as well? I mean, that intensity though. I mean, you must be bored of hearing this by now, but this is a sincere question because obviously such an intense style that you're playing, and then towards the end of the season, like, do you think you're going to be able to keep that intensity up? And that's not a weighty question. I'm just genuinely curious how you feel because it's such an aggressive way with such a young side and a relatively experienced side as well.
Yeah, I do think we'll keep it up. I do think, because we've developed it as such a style of play. It's almost like it is a bit of a cross between Man City and Liverpool.
It's horrible.
How we're playing. You know what I mean? In that you're right. It's a very aggressive way of playing. We start games really quickly on the front foot, looking to get at teams really early. And we finish, we're a very fit team, so we finish games very strongly as well. So I think, we've needed to bring in additions to the squad, which, in the January transfer window so far, we've made a couple of signings. Hopefully we can make at least one more in the midfield area.
Yeah.
But I think if we do that, I do feel we can keep it up because I think if we had Champions League football as well, maybe we might struggle. But playing in the Europa League where, you can still, even at this stage, not go with your first team for a game until you get down to the latter stages, hopefully, if we get there. I think we can. I think we can keep it up. I really do. But it is a very aggressive style, very, I love the way we're playing at the moment. I really do.
It's great. It's so fun to watch, and I hate saying that as a City fan, but it's just full of life, and joy and energy, and you can tell there's a bunch of players there that have been emboldened and believe that they can actually do this. And I want to touch on Zinchenko because he's a current talking point a lot amongst City fans, and mainly because that clip's gone viral of Neville going like he's not a leader and all this kind of stuff, and like this kid, like, be honest with me, Robbie. Did you expect Zinchenko to be this good? Like, did you expect him to be?
No, I didn't. Listen, when I was talking about this a couple of days ago, that when we played Man United, and actually, if you remember going back to the summer, Arsenal's number one target was Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that we were looking to bring in, and I think the plan was to play him on the left, and he could invert in and stuff like that. We didn't get him. And he ended up going to United. And by the way, he's turned out to be a good player.
Yeah.
But we got Zinchenko, which has turned out to be even better signing for us. Now, when we got Zinchenko in, I thought to myself, good signing, experience. Every time I see him at City, look a really decent player. But he's blown me away. He's been exceptional. He seems to have this almost like a free role at left back where, he joins up in the midfield. And his quality on the ball, his passing, everything about him, I just love. You know what I mean? The passion of the guy, and he's doing all this. I was thinking about this the other night. He's doing all this with all what's going on in Ukraine in the background as well.
Yeah.
So that makes him even more of a remarkable player. So he has blown me away. I think with Jesus, I knew he was going to be a top player, and even he's gone beyond what I thought he was going to be as well.
Yeah.
But Zinchenko he's been excellent. He really has been.
I love him. I absolutely love the guy, and I know a few people. One of my best mates works at City, and he was his favourite player there because he was the nicest guy there by a long way. So not only have you got a great football, you got a great man as well, which obviously helps. And you can see why Arteta was drawn to him and Jesus because their personalities. They are winners, and they're ultimately they probably needed this move as well. And I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but they were relative squad players at Man City, they were still that immense quality, and they got a chance to go and beat essentially the key players, and they've taken it, haven't they? And
for us, they are like key. They are key players. I mean, even though Jesus obviously is out at the moment, but he's a key player for us. The way in which he leads the attacks and stuff like that. He's been a key player for us. So both of them have been brilliant for us. They really have been.
So FA Cup tomorrow. Of course, does this feel like a big game or does it feel like a distraction? Because it's tough, isn't it, for you? Because obviously you want to win the league.
It's tough, right? It's a bit. So on the one hand, right, we've won the FA Cup more times than any other team, and we've got a rich history in the FA Cup, and we want to keep that going. You know what I mean? And I think if we could come up there to the Etihad and beat City that would be remarkable. It'd be brilliant. But then on the other hand, I look at the games down the line against Man City, and I'm like, do we really want to go there as Arsenal? Because I was thinking about it, I was like, we could play our strongest team in that game because we don't have another game until next weekend.
Yeah.
So I see no reason really why both Arsenal and Man City could not go with their strongest team because there's no games for another week.
Yeah.
But I just feel that, and I think this on both teams, do you really want to show your full hand?
It's weird, isn't it, psychologically?
Yeah, because we've got those games coming up in the league. And do you want to show your full hand? What if Arsenal went there, put out a full-strength team, and then got a pumping? Right?
You're right. You're absolutely right. Psychologically, it's mad.
Yeah, psychologically, that'd be very damaging. You know what I mean? You'd think to yourself, whereas if you go up there and you play a semi-strong team and you put in certain fringe players, and then if you still suffer the loss, you can look on it and say, all right, well, listen, it weren't the main guys. Wait until you come and down to the Emirates. Or if you've got a win, you can say, well, listen, we've got, it shows the levels we've gone up. Look, and that weren't even our main guys. So I think there's going to be a bit of a psychological battle that may go on in the selection of these teams. And we've been debating this as well here, right, amongst the guys, is that would Arteta, Arteta and Pep are friends, good friends. He even said it in his press conference yesterday. I wonder if they contact each other before the game and say,
"Who are you putting out, man? Go on, yeah.
Are you going strong? Are you going strong? Like, I don't know. It's a real weird one. If we were playing anybody else, I think I would want Arsenal to put the strongest team out.
Yeah.
Bar maybe say a change to the goalkeeper or something like that, because I'd be like, we ain't got a game till next week. But honestly, I just look at it and say, make a few changes, because don't want to show our full hand, because I just think that those games in the league are so big.
Yeah.
Especially the one at the Emirates. I feel that is a huge game, because I thought last year we gave you a really good game at the Emirates. You guys came out on top 2-1. We went down to 10 men. But we gave you that was a great game.
Yeah.
And that was the one time, because obviously you guys have had our numbers over the last 4 or 5 years. That was the game when I was like, we could have won that game today.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be, the lineups are going to be intriguing.
To me, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely bang on, and that's where my head's been at with this game as well. It's more, I think it's from your side as well, the Arsenal side, because I think the expectation sort of is not, well, I guess not fully on Arsenal, but I agree psychologically. If you play the strongest team and City beat you, you'd be like, oh, fuck, man. And all of a sudden, like, the nerves would be like...
and that can happen.
Of course it can happen. And I don't think it's worth the risk of feeling that, is it? It doesn't really feel worth the risk, because you've won the FA Cup relatively recently, and like, you're having this incredible season. And City... I always argue that I don't think Arsenal have had a reason to fear City yet, because I don't think we've been at our best form, and like, everyone talks about pressure. But Arsenal are going to feel the pressure. But like, well, you won't feel the pressure if we don't actually apply any, and I don't think City have been applying it to the best yet. And like, a game like this could do that, So I think psychologically, if we beat you, but you played your second string side, like, it doesn't really mean anything. It's a little bit, but it doesn't massively mean anything. Like, it's like, well, they rested their players, and so be it. And go on.
Yeah, the thing I would say, Steve, right, is that like, Mikel Arteta has taken this competition quite seriously. I mean, when he came in, that was the first thing he won. And I remember we beat City in the semi-final. I remember that time, and it was the first thing that we actually won. And I think like a lot of Arsenal supporters do hold this competition very dear to their hearts. You know what I mean? And there's going to be a lot of Arsenal fans there. There's about 9,000 coming up. So, despite all of those things, I don't want him to go too weak. We don't want to. Right. We don't want to get up there and get what Chelsea got. You know what I mean? Because we know, and I do feel that these games now. I hear a lot of people saying City haven't been at their best and stuff like that, and I have seen some games where they haven't been. But I do feel that when they play us, they will be at their best. You know what I mean? When you guys play us, you will be. You know what I mean? It's it's a huge game. It's like when over the years when I've seen you guys playing Liverpool, those games are like elite clashes that
of course.
Every player is up for that. It's like a cup final. So these games are going to be different. But the FA Cup one is intriguing just because I do feel he's going to leave out some players. I do feel that, I mean, the rumours is that, for instance, Trossard will start
that
the
makes
game.
sense, to be fair, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper, Matt Turner, will be in goal. It won't be Ramsdale. Matt Turner's he's a good keeper, by the way, but he'll be in goal. Could we brought in this new centre-back, Kivor.
Yeah.
Jakob Kivor, could he make his debut in that game instead of a Gabriel and Rob Holding? I do think there will be changes, but as I said, it's who does he leave Saka out? That's the interesting one. Because not, again, do we leave such an important player out of this game? We don't want to go too weak because, as I said, you're more than capable of doing what you did to Chelsea.
I can see it going through your head, working out. Well, do we do this? Do we do that? I don't know how.
I don't know what to do.
That's the thing, is that's the pressure, though, isn't it? That's the pressure. That's what it feels like when you start it. But right now, it's still, we're still cozy. It's still January, but it will step up. And like the way I see it, I think City will play a really strong team because I think we have to. I think we have to, actually, because what our strong team is these days, I don't know, by the way. It probably hasn't got Foden, Bernardo, Cancelo because they're out of favour. But I think we'll play what Guardiola deems the current best team because we have to. Because our form hasn't been great. We have to win. We want to go far. And I think Arteta does actually have a little bit of the same mentality of Guardiola, where he wants to win all the competitions. And actually, I love it when managers do that. Like when they really go for it.
Yeah, because
Liverpool famously binned them all off. Klopp binned them off constantly, and I fucking hated it. I thought it was like you're too big a team to bin off competitions. And Arteta he goes for them, doesn't he?
But the last round against Oxford, I was shocked at the team. It was just is a very strong team. And you remember, we already knew that we were going to be playing you in the next round.
Yeah.
So, it's not like he said to himself, we got City in the next round away. So,
I just looked, actually, Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel, Tomiyasu.
But then that team, a lot of it was because there wasn't really much. We don't have a big squad, so there wasn't really a lot of players to bring in. So I think with this one, now that we've made a couple of signings, a couple of them could figure. I think it could be a semi-strong team. I think players like Granit Xhaka might start.
Yeah.
I do think some of the players like Fabio Vieira, I think, will start, and players like that instead of Odegaard. So I think it will be a changed team, but a strong team. And I reckon he'll have some of those, some of the first teamers on the bench in case it's going horribly wrong.
Yeah.
But, I have to admit that when that got drawn out of the hat and I saw Man City away, I was deflated. I was like, that's the worst possible draw you could ever think of getting in an FA Cup fourth round. You know what I mean?
It makes you feel better. So, I felt exactly the same way right now, which is a testament to how far Arsenal come this season, because I was like, for fuck's like, genuinely, it's the one draw I didn't want, know, and that's who we got. And it's going to be a cracking game. So, Are you confident for this game still, or do you feel a little bit like it might be one step too far with the changes?
I think it could be one with the changes. It could be one step too far, just for the simple fact that I just think over the years, Man City's squad's unbelievable. The fact that I think it was when you played Chelsea in it and you had like Mahrez and guys like that playing. I go, look at that. He came on and he just ripped them apart. I think your squad is that good that, but on the other hand, we have been playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And we have been playing with, sort of a no fear. And I fully expect even though there'll be some changes, I fully expect them to play in the same sort of style.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I would have loved I love a nice cup run, and it's going to be really difficult to get past you guys in this game. We don't need a draw either, right? It's going to be another game,
man, because that end up being in the middle of the other games, won't it? Somewhere, God knows where that would be. But
yeah.
Go on, prediction.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's hard, isn't it? Even
well, I got to back my team, even though, obviously, I don't know, I've got no evidence to back it off of because you've got a better squad. We haven't won at the Etihad for a long time, but I don't know, maybe times are changing, man. So maybe let me go 2-1 Arsenal.
Do you know what?
Let me go 2-1 Arsenal.
City will win these competitions with the reserves as well. So that's maybe when you're hot, you're hot. You know what I mean? And like right now, Arsenal flying and. I just looked at the fixtures again. I can't believe it's that close as well. The big one, isn't it? Only a couple of weeks away.
The big one is it. mid-February, isn't it? On a
15th
Wednesday
of
night.
February,
That's the
yeah.
first one.
That is
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to be
So
a horrific game of football. I am dreading that already. That's a story for another
yeah,
day.
the fact that you're saying you're dreading
Oh,
that,
come on, man. It's going to be
right,
horrible.
but that's brilliant
You're going
because
to be loving it.
over the years, you guys haven't dreaded it. I remember, I never forget that week when you smashed us up in the League Cup final, and then you came midweek and smashed us up exactly again at the Emirates. And I was like, oh, I remember looking at it and thinking, we're miles off these teams. And it's just a joy now that, we can be taught, I can be hearing you talk like that you're now saying, that's going to be a tough game, which it will. That at the Emirates will be a tough game for you guys because we are playing really well there.
Absolutely. And I think you'll be fearless as well, to be honest, because once again, I think the pressure's on City, to be honest. In that game, I think the pressure's on City to prove themselves because Arsenal, you'll have the buffer still in theory and it'll be fascinating. But of course, there's tomorrow to deal with first before that, so we'll see how that goes.
Robbie, you won't play Haaland, will you?
What, tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
It might be Alvarez. You might be right. It might be Alvarez. He's scared of Haaland, man. He's a big man, isn't he? He's a good guy. We'll see. We could do, Guardiola might try to make a point. Actually, though, recently they played them together. He's played Haaland and Alvarez together, so we could see that, actually. So it could be. I think he'll play them together. And it'll be a weird team. It'll be Rico Lewis and everyone and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun.
I like the look of him.
He's a fucking
Rico
baller.
Lewis.
He's keeping Cancelo and Walker out of the team, which is mental. 18
Listen,
years old.
I love to see players that have come up through the system getting there looking. So I'm glad to see that that he's doing that. It's fantastic.
That's what you want to see, isn't it? It means more, definitely. Yeah. You want the guys who get it, and he's a City fan as well. So you want the local lads who are fans of your team to do it, and it makes it that much sweeter.
100%.
Robbie, you're a superstar, mate. Thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you have a good but terrible day tomorrow in the best possible way.
I'll be up there, right? So I'm looking forward to it, man.
You're at City Square tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I got the call from City about it as well. I can't make it tomorrow for personal reasons, but they asked me if I wanted to be on at the same time. So, but yeah, Robbie's on City Square tomorrow ahead of the game, aren't you? What time are you on?
Don't throw nothing at me, you know what I mean? I can't be.
Oh, don't worry, the food's too expensive to throw there anyway. It's like £7 burgers and that, so maybe more expensive than that. But anyway, go and see Robbie before the game tomorrow. Cheers, mate. You're an absolute superstar.
All right.
And have a lovely day tomorrow, man. If not, enjoy the game.
Care, man.
Catch you in a bit. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all very, very soon. And back tomorrow for another video. In a bit. Bye-bye.